Ladies and gents, this is the infamous Wood Grill in Harrisonburg. There's one in Charlottesville as well. Food all over the place. The greatest buffet you're going to find in the Commonwealth. You've got fruits, you've got salads, you've got desserts, you've got fried food, steaks, chicken. It's a packed house here. Football teams all over the Commonwealth come here for the championship games. North Stafford in the house, Lake Taylor at the one in Charlottesville. They're all over the place. But we've got for you coming up on Saturday, NFHS Network. Tune in 11:30 a.m. for the Class 6, Class 4, Class 2 games. And then at 5 p.m. it's the Class 5, Class 3, and Class 1 title games. Andy Hayes and I will have you covered from JMU. Time to chow down, though, on this food at the Wood Grill. Maybe you'll give me a coupon for doing this. I don't know. Oh, so much great food.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Good Saturday morning to all of you out there, and welcome to another installment of 757 Sports Talk, powered by Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. He is in a much better lit room, known as the Coach Ed Young. I am in a darker hotel room. I don't have my usual setup. No piano in the background. And we say good morning to all of you. It's State Championship Saturday, Ed. This is one of the best days of the year. You're actually smiling, which is good to see because you weren't doing a lot of that last night. I know that.
Good morning to all. The coach greets all, and it was not a good night as we got Lambrusted against Newcat.
Lambrusted?
Lambrusted. Beat up, taken to the woodshed. It's just a horrible game for us last night. I see they didn't put it in the newspaper. As the winning teams are supposed to report scores. We got beat 67-44, I think it was, and it wasn't even that close. Bad first quarter, 28-8, I think, at the end of the quarter. Played them somewhat even the rest of the way, but we were never a threat to them. They're very good. Newcat is extremely good.
They've scored 90-plus a couple times, haven't they?
They're averaging 87 points a game. Press well. They play really well together. They got length. They got shooters. Mm-hmm. I didn't think they'd be as good as this year as they were last. They may be better. But 3A, as we all know, somebody got to run into Petersburg somewhere.
Yeah, it's their time now. And by the way, we have lots of days and time to go through the high school hoops scenario. We might be doing some broadcasting next weekend. We're still not sure yet. We're efforting that, but.
Hey, let me say this. I know you want to get into. We got to get into football because this is what it is, championship day.
Yes, no doubt.
But I don't know if you can see yourself in the screen. I have to say this. You look like you're on the run.
Me?
Yeah. I shouldn't say this because this is not a joking matter. But when I saw you in the darkness of what you're in and a hat on, I wanted to say, did he used to coach Michigan? But I'll leave it.
Oh, that's not right. That's not right.
That was not a good thing to say.
No, it's not.
You look creepy to make it. I need Woody and Derek and everybody on. When you get on today, tell us your first thought when you saw Matt sign on today, what he looks like. Just tell us what you think, because it looks like he's about to go out the window any minute somebody knocks on that door.
No, it's called playing hurt. That's what it's called. So, but we did get a lot of feedback on the Wood Grill, by the way. We got more coming from the Wood Grill, including my father has commentary from the Wood Grill. So stick around. That's on the way.
Did you? I was going to say you probably killed that thing last night.
I didn't kill it, but it was busy. And here's the real quick thing before we dive in. And by the way, I did want to highlight on the high school basketball front some notable results. Lansdowne's looking like the best team around. They put it on Princess Anne, who beat Green Run earlier this week. Damian Robinson, I think, with 35 or 32 points, something like that. He had a monster game, son of Dwight Robinson. And Denby beats Hampton on Thursday night. Of course, Hampton's still getting his football guys like Gavin Kay and Abraham Taft acclimated, but a good win for Jay Grimes and the Patriots. I see Lake Taylor's been humming. They've been playing well. Nance, remember who we had on the show last week? They beat Lakeland pretty soundly. Granby beats Maury in overtime last night, Norfolk rivalry game there. So all kinds of high school hoops action that we'll be diving in on as we get past state championship Saturday and move into the end of December and before you know it, January will be here. So we're down to like the last couple shows of December after today. But a lot of great feedback from what happens at the Wood Grill. I do want to know, though, we could play a fact or fiction today. Fact or fiction. One of the coaches in there got not one but 2 pieces of steak. Fact or fiction?
Oh, that's fact.
Yeah. Unlike a lot of the buffets where they, you ask and they give it to you, you can just reach in. And I'm telling you that's a dangerous move for some of these folks. Dangerous move.
I can imagine. It looked like a lot of really good food, and it's all open buffet. In other words, nobody hands it to you. You got to go ahead and get it yourself.
Right.
So you take the whole plate if you want it.
Oh, I mean, listen, when you see a thing of steak just sitting there next to a thing of chicken, next to a thing, it's tremendous. Tremendous. You get your bang for your buck. There's no doubt about that. If you can, but you get full quickly. At least in my ways now. But it is state championship Saturday, Ed. And before we go to break, we're going to have coming up Marquez Hall. He's the head football coach of the North Stafford Wolverines, whose team will be in action at 11:30 a.m. against Oscar Smith. We'll show you the matchups for those that are unfamiliar with who's playing who and when and where and how, and all the games available on the NFHS network for folks to check out with a subscription. Just like they can check out all your basketball games on the NFHS network and games all over the state when it comes to high school hoops. It is the official partner with the VHSL when it comes to live streaming and archived games as well. But we put it up here on the screen now for all of you out there to check out, and we'll zoom in here in a second. But Class 6, it is Oscar Smith and North Stafford. We'll tell you what our picks were, too, to get people all irate or up in arms over that. Chuck McCoy, by the way, on Instagram asking if I'm calling the game today. I see him. Can't put the comments on the screen. Yes, Chuck, I am calling the game. I will be on the analyst side, not play-by-play side, alongside Andy Hayes at JMU for Oscar Smith, North Stafford at 11:30, then Highland Springs and Maury at 5 o'clock. So looking forward to that. But it is Smith. It is North Stafford. I'd be curious to get your thoughts after you hear what Coach Hall has to say about his team, which is missing one of its key parts in Kanaz Sullivan. But in the championship game for the first time in, I think it's 21 years. Smith, though, remarkable stat, Ed. This is their 11th trip in the state finals since 2008. They're 5-5 in the title round. How about that?
Just like a regular game for them, almost.
Can you name the 4 coaches that they have had lead them to championship games? And by the way, 11 trips. You don't think of a program having 4 different coaches in that span.
Yeah, because you would think that one person would be there forever. We got Richard Morgan.
Yep.
Billy D.
Yep.
Coach Chris Scott now.
Yep. Don't leave out your horse racing buddy. You're going to leave out your horse racing buddy. You're drawing a blank, aren't you?
No, I can't be on a blank. Oh, my God.
As soon as I say it, you'll be like, oh, I can't believe I forgot him.
Oh, my God.
He coached at Western Branch as well. He was at
Not
Smith. No, not Lou Johnston. Scott Johnson.
Scott Johnson. I was happy. I got one.
You're half there, yeah. But nonetheless, it's Smith. It's North Stafford. For folks that want to know, we do have the predictions up on Virginia Preps. But Ed Young is calling for this to be a close game, all you Smith fans. He's got it picked 21-16 Tigers. I've got it 28-17 Tigers in this one. Delisa Banks, we love Delisa out there. Says, let's go Tigers. So you have it as a 1-score game. I have it as a 2-score game. And the Jerry Massey, by the way, you were running last week. It's Jerry Massey. Ratings have it 28-21. So Smith last year won by a whisker over Madison. They've had some convincing championship wins like the ones over South County and Madison back in 2021. But we'll see if they get a chance to pull away in this game. North Stafford's defense is playing a lot better than it was early in the year, and we'll see if they take advantage of no Sullivan. I think we're all wanting to see how they deal with Travis Johnson on the outside, right?
Yeah, that receiving core. Now, Travis Johnson's not the only guy they got to worry about.
Correct.
We've seen that before, and that young quarterback does some nice things with the ball. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So it's going to be interesting. And you're telling me that North Stafford may be missing one of their key people?
No, he is. There's no maybe. Kanaz Sullivan, leg injury. He's out. He didn't play in the semis. He's not going to play in the championship game. So he is a no-go in this game. Before we get some thoughts on what Coach Hall has to say, that interview coming up, and then we'll have Gary Hess coming on. We've got Robert Anderson, VHSL Hall of Famer, and we've got a trio of Kettle Run Cougars who take on Lake Taylor today. We've got the likes of Colton Lubby, Carter Lubby, and Coach Delmar Christian. Highland Springs Maury, that's a game that I've got picked 42-26 in favor of the Commodores. You, sir, have it picked in favor of Maury by a count of 32-20, which is surprising because last week you said it'd be the highest scoring game, and you didn't have as high a score as I did. So I'm wondering what made you dial it back just a smidge.
Just keep thinking of Highland Springs hands offense. They got people that can do some things with the ball that Maury does too. I just kind of think it would be a lot, but I just got a feeling that Highland Springs will keep it somewhat close.
Somewhat close. All right. Maury without Isaiah Ike Simmons, the linebacker, 3-time All-State performer who was signed with Pittsburgh. Javonte Hughes in his place stepped up last week, had about a dozen tackles as they beat Stonebridge. It feels like this is a game where you're going to have to score enough points to stay with Maury, who put up 48 on that mighty Stonebridge defense. And Hughes is quite capable at linebacker. I guess the big question is, can the Springers take advantage of that absence in this game? Stonebridge kind of did, but they really spit the bit defensively. Let's just say it. They had a great year, but I think we're all stunned at just how easily Maury's offense just moved the ball. And that big 4th and 16 play, it was a 27-21 game, and that was all she wrote, essentially.
Yeah, that thing with Maury, snowball going down the hill. Once they get going, it's hard to stop them. Again, they have a lot of different weapons. It's the old adage of pick your poison, who you stop, because you're not stopping everything. And as far as could Highland Springs take advantage of Mr. Simmons not there, again, they've already shown they're not a one-man team by far. Yeah. And his backup comes in there and leads them in tackles. They're not a one-man team. You're going to have to decide what it is that you could try to stop for them, and then you really got to be clicking on what you do in a game of this nature.
Yeah, here's that play we're talking about. If you didn't see it, courtesy of Andy Hayes, RJ Windows on the NFHS Network. We'll show you a couple of highlights from that Maury win over Stonebridge now.
There's Branch. He's got it. Straight ahead, still not down. And he somehow spins out. 25-20 on his feet all the way to the 10. He's still going, and he's down at the 1-yard line. What a run by Tayshawn Branch.
That looked like Jeff Overton.
Oh, my goodness.
When he was in Freedom.
Tremendous run there by Branch. Watch it again here. Every time Maury sees Stonebridge with 3 down linemen, coach, they're coming up and they're running the ball. I mean, they bring him back in. Look at the missed tackles.
3, 4, 5.
They just couldn't get him out. Couldn't get him down.
And Golston ends up hustling down and making the tackle. Kedrick on the 1-yard line.
Attempt.
I think they're going to go down here one-on-one on this to number 3 down here on Langston Bridges. And they got quads to the up top.
Here's Everett back to pass.
There it is.
Chuck it deep toward the end zone, and it's going to be caught. Touchdown by Williams. And did he push off? That's the question.
I thought it was defensive pass interference myself, but we'll see in a second.
Official.
There's a flag
saying
now.
It's going to against Stonebridge. Let's watch the play.
Watch the replay. We get it. I told you they were going to go one-on-one to the backside here. They had one-on-one.
Not much really for either side.
The hands on, no. But, I mean, there was nothing offensively that was pushing off.
Yeah.
So we show you that because we also want to acknowledge our latest Chicho's Pizza 757 Football Player of the Week. We've had a bunch of these throughout the year. I'll actually show up as many as I can here that we've had in recent weeks. But the latest Chicho's Pizza Player of the Week was the guy that had that first touchdown, Tayshawn Branch, 247 yards and with 4 touchdowns on 18 carries. Earlier in the season, his teammate Damo Everett got that honor for the Chicho's Pizza Player of the Week. Other guys that have been recent recipients, Keon Johnson of Lake Taylor. And by the way, if any athletes out there are watching this and you've not gotten your pizza voucher, please reach out to me. We'll get that voucher to you. Free pizza. That includes Amari Pryor of Bethel, Lord Malik Carew of Indian River, Damo Everett of Maury, and Tyree Diggs of Phoebus, all of our recent Chicho's Pizza Player of the Week recipients. I know Keon Johnson got his last week, at least I believe so, and we personally deliver Branch and Everett's to them today. But you saw Ed, he can dominate and slip out of tackles, and then if you worry about the run too much, they'll hit you over the top with Everett finding Matt Williams on that 4th and 16 play that I thought was the game set match.
Yeah, Branch's run, which you watch when he first comes out of that line, he stumbles a little bit, so I thought he was down. Then he breaks 2 tackles in the vicinity, and then he breaks a couple more down the sideline. They couldn't even push him out of bounds. His balance was tremendous. That was a heck of a run to get him down to the goal line. But again, it goes to show you, okay, we're going to stop their run. All right, they got some receivers. The kid can throw. Well, we'll cover the receivers so they can't throw it. Okay, hope you can tackle up front because they got some guys who can get through the line, and they're not easy to bring down. And hats off to their line too. I keep talking about the hands guys, the receivers, the running backs, quarterback, but their line opens those holes for them. Their line allows that quarterback time to throw it. You don't get that much in high school. So again, that's a thorough ball club. You really have to be doing what got you here well as trying to stop something that they do.
Coming up, we've got North Stafford Coach Marquez Hall joining us to discuss the Class 6 championship game, Wolverines and Oscar Smith at 11:30 a.m. Eastern from James Madison University in Harrisonburg, and you can watch it with us on the NFHS Network. That's right after the break right here on 757 Sports Talk. They're watching where, Ed?
Cova Sports TV. Where else would you want to be?
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
4 wideouts. Andrews back to pass. With time, fires for the end zone. Oh, what a great catch!
Whoa!
Oh, my goodness! Quali Price with a one-handed grab. 35-yard touchdown for the Tigers.
And welcome back to On the Hatch with Hatfield. Like, share, and subscribe to Cova Sports TV on YouTube, wherever you are, and interact with us. We have a special guest with us here on the program. He is the head football coach of the Region 6B champion North Stafford Wolverines, and they're playing for a Class 6 state championship on Saturday at James Madison University against the reigning champion Oscar Smith Tigers. To see his guys celebrating the Region 6B title right here as they were able to beat Woodbridge and then Al's West Springfield in the state semis. We say hello and congrats to Marquez Hall. Coach, thank you for doing this. Great year for your team so far, and you got one more to go. It's the final game, the last set of practices. You got to be pumped.
Yes, sir. I'm super excited. Like I say, I'm very proud of my boys. They really worked their butts off for this opportunity, and we can't wait to go out and compete.
Well, it's one of the more remarkable stories. North Stafford has a rich tradition going back to the days of Joe Mangano when he took them to the state playoffs, but they fell on some hard times. You inherited a program that was not in the best of shape. I think might have had a winless campaign and a 1-9, but here you go. Last year, you go win 9 games, I think it was, got to the second round of the playoffs, and this year to the state championship. So how have you and your staff and your players gotten things turned around so quickly?
I mean, it was just a process, brick by brick process, situation that we set up. When I took over the program, I had lost a lot of players. So I had a good freshman class coming in. I ended up playing a lot of those guys as freshmen, played like over 20, 21 players as freshmen. And, I mean, we took our lumps, right? Like first year, we went 1-9. The second year, I thought for sure that we was going to win some games. We went 0-10. That was the most humbling experience ever, right? Like I told the guys, like, we rock bottom. All right, you can't get no lower than this. We only can go up from here. So we just kept grinding, kept working. Like I say, brick by brick mentality. Changed the program, had to get rid of some coaches, etc. And just kept working, kept grinding. I mean, I'm not from Virginia. I'm from Alabama. And so all I know is just hard work. You just keep working, keep grinding. And then eventually, we put it together. And that's what we did, right? So, I mean, kudos to these kids. Year 3, we went 9-3. Now look at us from year 4. We 11-3 and playing for state championships.
That's really awesome. Looking forward to calling your game alongside Andy Hayes on the NFHS Network coming up on Saturday with kickoff at 11:30 a.m. against the Tigers, followed by the Class 5 final with Maury in the Highland Springs at 5 o'clock. You mentioned you're an Alabama boy, so it's the Iron Bowl down there, and they love their football too with Roll Tide or War Eagle and Auburn. So take me through your upbringing. Who were some of the influences in football, and what brought you to North Stafford, your high school, college days, if you can, the mini biography?
Roll Tide all day, every day. I'm an Alabama fan, born and raised. I actually turned down a scholarship to Auburn University, and I ended up going to Vanderbilt University out of high school because I'm an Alabama fan. I wanted to go to Alabama. Alabama didn't recruit me. So I ended up choosing Vanderbilt over Auburn because I couldn't go to Auburn. I'm an Alabama fan. But I'm born and raised in Short, Alabama. I went to high school at Booker T. Washington High School in Tuskegee, Alabama. I was the first person from my high school to go to a Division I college. I was the first person in my high school to win a state championship, too, as well. In track, I was the 5,800-meter state champion in high school. I came second in the 200 in high school. My 4x1 team finished third. 4x4 team finished second. So, I mean, I come from a traditional rich high school in Tuskegee, Alabama. A lot of good athletes down there. I had quite a few coaches that impacted my life that kind of helped mold me into the guy I am today, right? So that's the reason why I coach high school football and I teach in high school too, because I wanted to touch and impact young lives as my life was touched and impacted when I was in high school. And, I couldn't have done it without those influences, those high school coaches that impacted and touched my life. And one of the main things that they told me was just, I don't want nothing in return. Just make sure you pay it forward. So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do here at North Stafford.
You've got a lot of talented young athletes that we'll touch on here in a moment, Coach. But I remember watching that first game of the season on FHS Network. You lost to Battlefield on August 28th, a heartbreaker. It was one of a couple of one-point losses, the other one coming to your Commonwealth District rival in Colonial Forge. And I remember telling myself internally, and Battlefield's quarterback got hurt that day, I said, they're going to see them again in the postseason. You almost saw Colonial Forge again as well in the postseason. They ended up losing a heartbreaker, a 2-point conversion play to Woodbridge, who you saw in the regular season as well. Give me just your battles in the district. Riverbend was great this year as well, and they made it to the Class 5 Region D championship. How much did those battles and then your regional battles with those teams in that really deep, rich Region 6B help you on this journey to the state championship game?
I mean, we've been battle tested all year, right? Again, our 10-game regular season, 6 of them was away. We only had 4 home games, so we opened up the year at Battlefield. So, I mean, if you watch that game, we should have won that game too as well. We let it get away at the end. Like, Battlefield didn't cross the 50-yard line until the fourth quarter. And we was up, 13-0. We was on the goal line a bunch of times, like a lot of opportunities missed that we should have scored, punched it in to, put the game away. But, that wasn't the reality. We end up, gave up a couple plays, a couple penalties, late in that game, a couple bad calls, et cetera, that kind of, impacted the game and changed. And we ended up losing on the last play. But, all that is just the resilience, of the team, like everything that we've been through. The experience or whatnot, just make us battle ready, battle tested. Like, again, the same thing that Colonial Forge. We was up 26-21. At the end of that game, we fought back, came back, and we should have punched it in and put that game away too. But had some late calls, late penalties, et cetera, that, helped them out, and they end up scoring at the end of the game. But it's just a testament of our guys to just overcome all the adversity that we've been through. And then it also helped us too as a team to basically help us overcome all the adversity that we've been through. So, like I said, we didn't play a lot of good teams this year. We done lost a lot of close ones. But at the end of the day, I think that just make us better, make us a better team. Like, we battle tested. Like, we done been down, we done been up. Like, we done been through so many different obstacles this year. I think that's just going to help our team in the long run.
No question about it. And I want to start with, as far as your individuals go, before we dive into the matchup with Oscar Smith coming up on Saturday. You have so many playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. We know one that got dinged up in Kanah Sullivan, who's one of the nation's top recruits in the class of 2027 that we'll touch on. But I want to begin with two defensive guys. Corey Lawrence for you. This guy is a menace off the edge. 27 sacks. I think he had 4 in a strip sack against Woodbridge in the region championship. And then Javier Hubbard. Lawrence, I think, is a senior. Hubbard's a junior. I think he has 6 interceptions on the year. He had 3 takeaways, a couple for scores in that game against Woodbridge. What have those two guys meant? Because it feels like your defense has gotten better as this postseason has gone along. Do you feel the same way? And tell me about Hubbard and Lawrence if you can.
Yeah, so, I mean, my defense, kudos to my defensive coordinator, Coach Henshaw, Alan Henshaw. Does a great job for us. All the kids that run through a brick wall for him, he does a really good job game planning each and every week. For the opponent that we are getting ready to face. But defense, if you watched us, like, our defense been lights out all year. We pride ourselves in stopping the run. We're gonna sell out to stop the run, and then once we get you in passing situation, then we can play coverage. But Corey Lawrence, real name is Lyndon Lawrence. His nickname is Corey, and he like to be called Corey, but he's the most underrated player in the state of Virginia. Like, just a phenomenal kid. Like, he don't want all the escalates and all that. All he knows is just hard work, go get it. He started off as a safety for us, but he just worked his way, down inside the box. We was like, man, we can't get this kid off the field. We can put him on the line of scrimmage, play him back off the line of scrimmage at linebacker. He can bump out to nickel. He's just a phenomenal kid. Like, he's really, like, just a standout. He can play whatever you want him to do, man. Like, that kid, he do whatever. Like, I love that kid to death. I hope some teams, come out and recruit him, because he really is a joy. Like, he is going to make whoever recruit him, whoever give him that opportunity, like, he really going to be a steal for him. Like, he's a phenomenal player. He can bend very well. He can go out in coverage. He can tackle. I mean, he can do it all. Like, without him, like, our defense wouldn't be what we are today, for Corey. And by the way, he's the district defensive player of the year, the regional defensive player of the year, first team all linebacker. Just a phenomenal kid. Like, he deserves everything that he gets. And then Javi is a phenomenal athlete too as well. Like, he missed a couple games late in the year. He missed like 3 games, but coming back off of that, he had an ankle injury, but he didn't really step it up too. Like, he fully healthy. Like, we had a couple guys injured. Now we back at full strength, and he does a phenomenal job for us too as well. He got good ball skills. He can run. He plays some receiver too. Got good hands, run good routes. Just a phenomenal player, man. And that's just kudos to my coaching staff, the program that we're running. That's one thing we pride ourselves in developing the talent that we have. This ain't like college or the pros where you can pick the guys you want. You get dealt a certain hand, and when you get dealt that hand, it's on us to develop the talent that you have. So that's one thing that we pride ourselves on is developing the talent that we have. And, oh, by the way, like, all our guys had good grades. Like, we never had a guy to not qualify to go to college. So that's one thing that we pride ourselves on too as well.
That's outstanding. A few more minutes here with Marquez Hall. He's the head football coach of the North Stafford Wolverines, Region 6B champs, trying to become VHSO Class 6 state champs on Saturday to take on the reigning champ from a year ago in the Oscar Smith Tigers. Our guest here on Cove Sports TV. It's on the hash with Hatfield. And 9 of those 34 takeaways, courtesy of Mr. Hubbard for you. Offensively, a lot of weaponry, coach. Let's dive in on it. Chase Sullivan, your quarterback. I think he's got 27 touchdown passes. You got a couple of different backs that can do it. Antoine Barnes, a sneaky good wide receiver that maybe not enough folks in the state know about, and you have been able to compensate for Sullivan, Kanaz, that is, being sidelined because you have so many different guys that touch the football, right?
Yeah, man. We always had athletes. Like, Kanaz going down is a big loss for us. The good thing is that we got, other athletes that can step in and make plays too. So it's just the next guy up mentality. And I'm really proud of my senior class. They really have stepped it up a big notch, with Kanaz going down for us, like Antoine Barnes, Ricky Atkins, Ontario Washington, Chase Sullivan, Alon Lester, Caden Barnes, like those guys have really picked it up, so the production that we got out of Kanaz, they didn't stepped it up and stepped up and picked it up, in replace of Kanaz. And like I said, we going out here trying to win this thing for Kanaz too as well, man. He mean a lot to the program, a lot to this football team. We care about him, deeply. Unfortunately, that he got injured the Woodbridge game, early in the first quarter, but he gonna recover well. He should come back next year, healthy, and we're just gonna go out and just try to do the best that we can to win this game for him.
Now you take on an Oscar Smith team that won the championship a year ago. They have a quarterback who's a junior committed to UVA, and Lonnie Andrews III, a four-star wide receiver headed to Michigan, and Travis Johnson, among other very talented players on this roster. What must you do both offensively and defensively to have an opportunity to win this thing coming up on Saturday?
The most important thing, we prepare for everybody the same. We don't underestimate no opponent. We respect everybody. But the most important thing is just playing North Stafford football, just doing what we're supposed to do, taking care of the things that we're supposed to take care of. North Stafford beat North Stafford, right? That's the only way, in my opinion, that we lose if we beat ourselves, if we hurt ourselves. As long as we minimize the mistakes, take care of the football, don't give up explosive plays, play good defense, and, go down and score, right? When we get the opportunity, I think we'll be fine. Oscar Smith was a good program. They got good players, great coaches, defending state champions. We have much respect for them. But the game is played on the football field, right? So, again, I like my Jimmy over there, Joe's. And we're going to go out, and we're going to be prepared, and we're going to go out and see where the chips fall, when it come on Saturday. We're going to be ready to play, war ready.
There you go. Before we let you run here, what do you notice about them on film in terms of what the Tigers do? And do they remind you of anybody you've seen, be it in your district or outside during this playoff run? Because they are a pretty unique program, much like you guys.
Yeah, so they do a lot of different things. Like they got, the different packages and whatnot. They spread packages. They got a big boy package. They got many different packages to feature their offense. Like they big, they're physical, they look apart, they got good athletes, they wear a coach. So it's gonna be a tough task. And we're up for the challenge. But like I say, in our region, we done played a lot of different teams. We done seen every formation that you can see, right? All the defenses too as well. So I think that didn't help prepare us, for this moment, for this game, and the different packages that they come out in. And like Riverbend, like Colonial Forge, like Battlefield, West Springfield, all these different teams, each team is different in their own way. So, and then we adjusted to that. So, at this point, man, my guys, they didn't see it all. They're going to be prepared to play, and we'll let the chips fall where they fall.
Should be a fun one coming up with the Oscar Smith Tigers and the North Stafford Wolverines. Again, the kickoff is coming up at 11:30 a.m. on Saturday. Tigers checking in at 12-1, Wolverines at 11-3. Winner gets the Classics Championship. Marquez Hall, our guest, the head football coach of those Wolverines of North Stafford. Thank you so much for the time. All the best. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday, and we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thank you.
We've got more coming your way. It's On the Hash with Hatfield. Like, share, and subscribe, and keep it tuned, locked and loaded to Cova Sports TV.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis, but if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams Lloyd's, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage you have in your vehicle. It can be confusing. Not many people understand it. You know you need to have it, but do you have enough? Give us a call today at 757-547-5555 so we can help you prepare in the case of an automobile accident or any other personal injury matter that you or your family may find yourself in.
All right, we're with the 0 to hero. Majerald Clark, Lake Taylor wins it on a 27-yard game-winning touchdown pass from Kevin Adams to this guy. Final play of the game. When you woke up today, did you ever dream in your wildest imagination that you would do this final play and you're going to a state championship? How's it feel?
Feels good. We came through adversity, 3-7 last year. Came back, and now we're here, state champions. We're about to be.
I want to get to that, how you went from 3-7 to that this year, but take me through that final play call, what the coaches were telling you guys, that final play. Well, looks like we might be going to overtime, but you said we're not going to overtime. I'm going to win it right now.
Honestly, I was supposed to do a curl, but I seen the corner. He bit on it, so I turned around. Me and Kevin already got that connection. So as soon as I turned around, he looked at me, and fair enough, that's what happened.
It was about 7 seconds, I think. So when the time's ticking down and all right, we can't get a quick out pattern or something, get out of bounds with one more play, are you now thinking, all right, this is the last play of the game, I got to make this or we're going to OT? Is that what your mindset's? What, or you're just thinking, I got to score this?
I'm thinking, I got to score this. Okay. 0 to hero, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. You've had a heck of a year. You had an interception in this game earlier. I think it's like your 19th the last 2 years. I think you got 8 this year, 11 last season. How did this team fight through it? Because you played a pretty explosive team today, and you kept them in check. How did you guys pull it off?
We all just came together. Most of our defense, we played both sides of the ball, so we got on practice all conditioning, a lot of conditioning, and it turns out, put it on this field, come back on this field, and we do what it do.
All right, be honest. I know before the game it was a little bit of woofing. They were getting to a certain point of the field. Did that kind of rev you guys up even more and anger you a little bit? What was going through their heads a little bit?
We don't like people disrespecting us. They come on our turf. They try to do all this talking. Petersburg did that. We showed them. Mata Vista just did that. And we just do what we do best, honestly.
Hey, 2 Norfolk schools are going for state championships. You guys, Maury. Tell me about how this team has gotten better from last year to now, because you were 3-7. Nobody was talking about Lake Taylor in December, but in years past they did, and now they're doing it this year. How have you guys turned this thing around under Coach Sawyer?
The chemistry, Hank Sawyer. Well, my head, Hank Sawyer. He told me. Honestly, Coach Sean told me freshman year. He said that this is gonna be my team senior year, and had to show up junior year. Came back for ACL. Came back. Got first team All-State DB. So senior year, I said it's gonna be an awakening call. Senior year, and now we here.
And it is senior year, last 2 for that you're on here. We just had signing day, but I know you're gonna get some more looks. What's it looking like for you for the next level? I imagine you want to play college football, don't you? Anybody in the picture right now? Any interest?
Yes, I got 16 offers right now. So right now, I ain't signed it yet, but I'm waiting on bigger offers. I got big offers, but I'm waiting on bigger offers. And after this, I believe it's going to happen.
All right, good deal. And lastly, how do you guys finish this off? You're going to be taking on not the 2-time defending champ. Surprise in the other game, Kettle Run knocked off Liberty Christian. I know you guys don't care who you're playing. You want to get a ring. How do you go get it done?
Honestly, from 707 days, we fought with each other. So now that we're in the state championship, we about to really put the pedal on it. And we got to do what we do best.
From 0 to hero, and you know about that. Majerald Clark wins it for Lake Taylor. They're going to the state championship. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here is Matt Hatfield.
And welcome back to 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to Cova Sports TV and interact with us wherever you are tuning in. I am Matt Hatfield. My partner in crime is diligently preparing for basketball practice. What's new? So now with me for this segment of the program, we have a special guest with us. He is the voice of high school football in the 804, the Richmond area. You can find him on WRVA, veteran voice on high school football 910 The Fan. He is the sports director at Odyssey Richmond and sports anchor on WRVA. And give him a follow on the X or the Twitter at GHessRVA, our friend Gary Hess. Gary, good to see you. State championship Saturday, nothing better than that. And you've been on the men for quite a while, but you're making your triumphant return to, I think it's going to be Liberty University, the Class 4 finals. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I had an unfortunate accident back in September when I was down almost to your way. I was down at Christopher Port and had a little spill, and I didn't even fall very hard, but I ruptured the quadriceps tendon in my right leg, which is right above your kneecap. Had to have surgery, and I've been out for a little over 2 months, but wasn't going to miss the chance to do a state championship game. My recovery is going very well, so I will be making the trip to Lynchburg to hopefully, we don't have to be unbiased. We're playing out of town team, so hopefully bring Varina home a state championship against Loudoun County.
There you go. Yeah, you guys can root for the 804. Ed roots for the 757. I got to be impartial doing the whole thing for the state. But it's funny. You came on our program, our special mini cast style we did with Notre Dame,
right?
Miami. And who would have thought after that? Of course, Ed. We can blame Ed for your injury too, by the way. And we can blame Ed for everything since he's not here right now.
That works for me.
Yeah, we can.
Hey, the head coach takes the blame. Players get the credit. Head coach takes the blame.
Correct. He's already when he his first 2 games he lost the opener, so it was his fault losing to Lafayette, and then he won the second game over Isle of Wight, which was all the kids' credit. You're right, but no. In all seriousness, Notre Dame Miami was all the talk this past week with the college football playoff, and I thought Ed would be chucking objects at me and all kinds of people, but he was actually more subdued and calm about it than we thought, and he was a little upset that night when he lost to Miami. But yeah, it's crazy what has happened since early September to now, and that also translates to high school football, where it is surprising, yet we have a lot of the powers that be in the championship games, and we'll start it off in Class 5, Gary, where you have Highland Springs and Maury. Oh, my, we've seen these two before, haven't we?
Yeah, we call that a gathering of the usual suspects, but I will say this is not your typical Highland Springs Maury game. I know you follow this as well, but, I think both of these coaches have done one of their best coaching jobs. You look at I've heard you talk about all the players Maury lost that went to the D1 Power 4 level, and they have come back and done what they've done. And this is one of Lauren Johnson's absolutely best coaching jobs. Number one, kind of trying to make the puzzle pieces fit. But we saw them before my injury earlier in the year against Dinwiddie. They did not look like a state championship caliber team, but that team has gotten better and better and better. And, these two coaches are both very well decorated, and both of them should be very proud of the jobs them and their staff have done with these teams this year.
Yeah, before we dive into some of the players and the matchups for that game, as well as Varina, the team you'll be calling with Coach Chris as they take on Loudoun County, the thing that sticks out to me, Gary, a couple things. Number one, the out-of-state opponents that both of them have faced in the case of Friendship Collegiate and Huff for Highland Springs, and mixed results in both those cases. And Maury played Cardinal Gibbons, who they lost too close, Bishop McNamara, who they beat in triple overtime. They've tested themselves outside their districts, the capital for Highland Springs, the Eastern for Maury. And I think that's a credit to those coaches and kids to, be comfortable getting in unfamiliar environments and places, which they've been doing for years and years now.
I think you're absolutely right. I think the cliche when you say iron sharpens iron, I think it really, really does. And I think that Varina's benefited from that as well. But, Highland Springs, now this may not have been vintage Phoebus, but the Springers went down and played Phoebus down in Hampton. They played Dinwiddie. They added Dinwiddie to their schedule this year, which is, that's about, that's top. They're going to play Varina every year. But if you want to test yourself within the 804, Dinwiddie's the way to do it. And
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield.
And Maury basically steamrolled from there. And then the game for Highland Springs was the one, you correct me if I'm wrong, I think they had like a 99-yard touchdown at the end of it against Hanover, a very sneaky, improving program under Coach Rogers that they won late. And I think those type of tests helped get them ready for these games in the championship moments.
And that was the last game of the regular season. That was the first, that was right there at the beginning of November. And that game, that looked dicey, but that kick return really gave them some momentum going into the playoffs. The other thing you mentioned playing Hermitage, that our guys, Steve Adams filling in for me and Coach Chris did the first, did both Highland Springs Hermitage games for that matter. But the first one was a track meet back and forth, 31-28. But I think it's very at Highland Springs, played at UVA, has been the defensive coordinator at Highland Springs the whole time Coach Lauren Johnson has been there, and has, basically, Coach Johnson takes the offense, Coach Simmons takes the defense. And I think it's significant. You give Coach Simmons a second shot at a team, and Hermitage went from scoring 28 to scoring 13. I don't think that is a coincidence. And so just another example of how this team improves and gets better step by step. You're right. That Hanover game, we were following that game. I was at home. The guys were on location. We were following that game. They were doing the Manchester Huguenot game that night. And it was just, it looked like that the upset could happen, and special teams meant a difference. Frank Beamer, disciple, Lauren Johnson, who played for Coach Beamer, special teams making a difference in a key moment late in the regular season.
Well, as we finish up on that game before we turn the page to Varina, Loudoun County, Gary, how much will special teams be that third element here that matters in this game with the Commodores? Because certainly quick strike players on the field all over the place for Doreen McCain's team, who put up 48 on a Stonebridge defense that had given up 52 all year. They've got Damo Everett, the sophomore quarterback, who looks like the next one at that QB spot. It's setting records potentially for Maury. Tayshawn Branch coming off a 200-plus yard 4 TD effort. But Highland Springs got a guy who's pretty remarkable in his own right, Antoine Buddy Richardson. I can't remember this, the last time a guy got player of the year offensively and defensively in the region. He matters on both sides of the ball, and we know the Springers have had their share of kick return, punt return guys over the years too.
They really have, and they've got, Malik Bullock. They've got some other guys who can really make a difference in the return game. But I want to talk to you about Buddy Richardson. I can't remember. It's funny you mentioned that because I don't remember region. I'm sure there's been examples because you and I have both seen many years come and go. But offensive and defensive player of the year in the region, that gets your attention. The other thing is the Springers do not make a regular practice of having their quarterback play on defense. And this was, kind of, we're going to turn Antoine. They weren't sure about what the quarterback situation was going to be. And Richardson came to Coach Johnson and said, I'll do it. I'll take it on. But he was too good on the defensive side of the ball not to have him go both ways. And it has really paid off for the Springers. And that is one of those cases. If you watch the Springers play, Richardson is, as a now he's always been great at corner, but as a quarterback is so much better now than he was in September. It was kind of new to him then. Coach Johnson's done a great job kind of molding number 2 there into the quarterback they need him to be to go along with Eric Bird in that running game.
Yeah, I tend to think, and Coach Young said this last week on our show, that's going to be maybe the highest scoring game of the 6 championships with Highland Springs and Maury, just because there's so many athletes on the field, and it's taking nothing away from, as you mentioned, Coach Simmons, the D coordinator for Highland Springs, and Coach Privet, the D coordinator for Maury. But it feels like there can be just some big, long touchdowns throughout that ball game. The other game that you got, the one you'll be calling with Coach Chris, and you can tell the folks that I can listen to it in a bit here, it's going to be at Liberty, Varina, playing Loudoun County, 11:30 kickoff. Blue Devils, known for their stifling defense. They were in a game that had 70 points. A little bit surprising it was that many points against Jefferson Forest. And Loudoun County, which squeaked by Lafayette 25-23, a missed field goal at the gun in that one. What intrigues you most about this match? We know the Blue Devils have been playing mighty well here the last 7-8 weeks. I think they're coming in on an 8-game winning streak.
Varina is playing at such a high level, that you look at in week 9 of the regular season, or if you count week 1 to 11, it was week 10. It was that Thursday night before Halloween when Varina actually kind of dominated Highland Springs. The Blue Devils are, when you look at Caleb White and that offensive line and Damari Carter and all the weapons they have on offense and Bull Richardson and those 2 inside linebackers and playmakers in the secondary, Sire Rex and some of these guys, Michael Robinson's son, sophomore Burton Robinson, they just have playmakers everywhere on that defense. This is a complete football team, and there's a lot of guys that were on that team last year who got to Lynchburg and lost to Phoebus. They have unfinished business on their minds. And I think the most interesting aspect of this game is a Varina team that was there last year, that was there in 21, that has been there and done that and has that, they say the standard is the standard. And this is what Varina's all about, facing a Loudoun County team that had never won a regional championship, has never been there before, doesn't know what they don't know. You know what I'm saying? And so that, to me, is the most compelling thing. Been there, done that, motivated to erase the memory of that loss last year against a team that's showing up at Liberty and has never been on this stage before, which can be a curse but can also be a blessing.
Yeah, it's crazy, Gary. I think Loudoun County's been involved in 4 one-point games this year. They've won 3 of them, and then they just came off a 2-point game where they had to dodge a missed field goal from the Rams from almost 50-plus distance or 45-yard distance, whatever it was exactly. But
right.
We spoke moments ago about Coach Lauren Johnson, former Hokie, and I know your colleague Hokie Steve, excited about all the flips James Franklin's gotten, and fans across the Commonwealth should be pumped that UVA's getting so many commitments, and also what James Franklin has done with these flips here lately. The commitments galore, and UVA's got a couple of special ones coming to them from the Blue Devils in Damari Carter and Jay Sean Bull Richardson. Carter coming off the 3 TD effort My question to you is for Loudoun County, who's had this magical run, and they don't have as many ballyhooed names, so they do have a 4-star going to Clemson up front in Carter Scruggs on the O-line. Which of the game changers you think concerns the captain's coaching staff more? How you block Bull Richardson or how you deal with Damari Carter on the outside? Because neither is an easy task.
Neither is an easy task. I would say if I had to pick between the two, I would say it would be Bull Richardson. And the reason I say that, I had a coach tell me once that if you were to start a team, and this is a great thing to ask coaches during the off season. If you were to start a team, what position would you focus on first? And a coach told me once defensive tackle, because you control the interior. It sets up what the linebackers can do. It sets up what the defensive ends can do. But I remember when hearing about this kid named Bull, Ja'Shawn Richardson, and when he was a freshman, and we go to do a game at Varina, and in the first quarter, we're like, hey, let's see what this freshman kid, what he could do. And the first quarter, he was in the backfield like 4 times, tackles for loss. And we're like, oh, it's like that. Okay. And so I can't believe you blink your eyes and he's a senior now. But he's just a game wrecker. And, he just sets up. They have the, 2 great inside linebackers. The defensive ends have had great seasons, secondary, but it all filters out from defensive tackle. And so, they're going to have to figure out how to double team him. And what does that open up in terms of linebacker access, defensive end access? You're going to have to single on somebody and see what happens. So to me, that's the larger concern. Damari Carter is a great guy. It seems to be like he steps it up in the playoffs. You look and you hear very little from Damari Carter, a pass here, pass there, end around, whatever. And then suddenly, boom, last season in the Dinwiddie game down at Dinwiddie, the regional championship, boom, out of nowhere, 3 touchdowns. Last week, 3 touchdown catches. But, Caleb White has the ball in his hands, can do so much running and passing and doing all of that. They've gotten the running backs involved. They have other receivers that can be game wreckers as well. So to me, Damari Carter demands attention. But if you're going to pick between the two, Bull Richardson's the guy you got to deal with and worry about.
I'm with you 100%. It's funny because I've seen it with Damari Carter. He plays better in the big games in both football and basketball. He tends to step it up when the lights are brighter, if you will, the chips are down. And the thing that also jumps out to me, and I know we've seen Caleb Weiss do this at safety. You mentioned Carter both ways. Loudoun County's got a guy that was a defensive player of the year that plays both ways, and Jeremiah Davis Jr., son of assistant coach who played at Penn State, and Jeremiah Davis Sr. We see so many two-way players, Gary, across the state. Buddy Richardson we touched on. And it's usually found at the lower levels, your Class 2, Class 1, Class 3 teams. I think so many of these coaches have realized I'm not taking my best guys off the field. It's where it all matters, and they can make the impact just as much offensively as they can defensively.
Matt, the interesting thing I see is that so many times, especially in these top flight programs, it's like, what can we do to have true 2-platoon football? Let's have our offensive guys and our defensive guys. But then when the rubber meets the road, you suddenly see, we always joke about the first of those 4 state championship teams at Highland Springs that had Greg Dortch and Kayvon Wallace and Beckton. And it was funny because now Kayvon Wallace played both ways all along, but Dortch only played offense until it got tough in the postseason. Then suddenly there was Dortch playing safety. And why wouldn't you play him there? And so, I think it's funny to me that they spend so much time trying to some of these bigger programs to create 2-platoon football, especially on the lines of scrimmage. But then when the rubber meets the road, let's get that guy in there because he can help. Varina's done that. They're not doing it this year, but they've done it in the past with Bull Richardson, putting him in on the offensive line to see if, they can help block and create some holes.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. The last couple minutes here with Gary Hess. He is the voice of high school football in the Richmond area. Give him a follow on the X or the Twitter, if you still call it that, at GHessRVA, and he'll tell you how you can listen to him and Coach Chris and his gang give you the game call of the Class 4 finals between Varina and Loudoun County coming up from Lynchburg University at Liberty University in Lynchburg on Saturday. It is 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. I want to get your last thoughts here on just the overall picture of the championship games. There's another 804 team going for a title in Rappahannock. The Raiders at 12-2, a 3 seed taking on a 3 seed in Rye Cove, who's 11-3. They won a 7-6 game, while Rappahannock won a 38-32 game.
Only undefeated team left in Virginia high school football is Glenver, with a Charlotte commit who's the VHSL all-time touchdown pass record holder, and Brody Doyot. Glenver taking on Strasburg, who eliminated Pocosin in the semifinals there. Class 3, the game that will follow you guys on the air with Varina and Loudoun County. It's Lake Taylor. It's Kettle Run. Hank Slater goes for his 4th ring, while Kettle Run, which finished the runner-up, the bridesmaid, if you will, to LCA. They rally from 28-9 down, Gary, to beat the 2-time defending state champs there in Class 3. In the Class 6 game, we didn't touch on even Oscar Smith in action against North Stafford, a newbie, if you will, to an extent in the championship round. Tigers go for their 2nd title in a row against North Stafford, who's 11-3. But just your overall thoughts on these games. And Rappahannock's going for a title. And last week we had 7 games decided by 6 points or less. So I think the state high school football picture is as healthy as it's ever been.
I think it's a couple things I want to mention. I'll start at the top class, and that's in 6. I think Oscar Smith benefited from being tested last week by James Madison a little bit. I think this is and this is another program that did what we talked about earlier, tested itself early in the season, and took an L against a really good team, and that has really benefited them. North Stafford's been away for a while. If I remember correctly, I called a state championship game with North Stafford against Meadowbrook in 2003. I think North Stafford was the team. I could be wrong about that, but I got to look that up.
They played. It was either Meadowbrook or Hopewell. We'll double check.
Yeah, it was I think it was Meadowbrook then.
Yeah.
So
You're right, because they ended up losing in 35-27. Yep.
Yep, after leading 14-0, and Meadowbrook had beaten Hampton the week before, and that was that's some of my favorite memories of over 30 years of doing this, was that ride with Meadowbrook and those people. But so that's an interesting game to me. Kettle Run, we got to look in person at Kettle Run last year when they knocked TJ out in the regional final, and that is a team that is well coached and just does everything well. And it's like you may not see 5 stars and 4 stars or what have you, but they just do everything well. They get in the right spot, and when they get in a tight spot, no panic, just came back and took care of business last week. I think that's going to be a fascinating game. Don't sleep on Strasburg against Glenver either. I mean, Strasburg's a program that's been there and done that, and knows that the culture in that program, knows how to win, and so that's going to be a fascinating game. But what a story Rappahannock is. Essex has been so dominant, and Rappahannock found a way to beat them. First regional title since 1992. And now playing for a state championship, and what you have to feel like is a winnable game against Rye Cove. So I think Rappahannock's one of the feel-good stories that's coming up with championship Saturday, and I'll definitely be keeping an eye on how they do on in the late game on Saturday in Salem.
Yeah, the Salem is the site for Class 1 and Class 2. Liberty, the site, of course, where you'll be for Class 3 and Class 4, and I'll be up at JMU for Class 6 and Class 5 title games. Folks can always watch on the NFHS Network if they want to see the action, but they can listen to you and Gary, Coach Chris, give them the call of the 11:30 a.m. kickoff between the captains of Loudoun County and the Blue Devils of Varina. How can they do so?
We will be on at 11 a.m. for pregame on Sports Radio 910. If you're in the Richmond area, Sports Radio 910 The Fan, that's 9:10 a.m. and 105.1 FM. Of course, you can get it online on the computer at thefanrichmond.com. You can find a link to that on my Twitter feed at GHessRVA. Also, you can use the Odyssey app. Just look up 910 The Fan Richmond, and you'll find the link there where you can listen to the game as well. Once again, 11 a.m. pregame, 11:30 kickoff. And be prepared. We'd love to have Loudoun County folks listening to us, and we're not going to be overtly us and them, but we will be a pro-Varina broadcast.
Absolutely. And you can also do what I did when I listened to you and Coach Chris do the call of that St. Chris Huguenot. You can yell in the background. I have to be careful. Hey, Alexa, pop up 9:10, and it does. And I'm sitting there watching 3 games, listening to you guys give the call of another game. So it's always there. If you're at home, wherever you are, you can use your other devices too to find it. Well, enjoy the games at Liberty. Say hello to my pal Danny Lewis for me. He'll be up there with a couple of our other staff people and photographers, and have fun with the football action. It's the final one here for December 2025 as far as the high school games go.
I would love to have come to Harrisonburg. I've never done a game at Bridgeforth, but I'll say this: Liberty is a great venue. It's a great place to do a game. It is just beautiful. and stadium's so nice, so looking forward to that, and looking forward to being back in the saddle. My first game since September the 19th, so I'm very excited about it.
Well, stay upright, my friend, and you enjoy the game with Coach Chris, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay, be well. Thanks.
That's Gary Hess, the voice of high school football in Richmond. Find him on 910 The Fan, WRVA, sports director at Odyssey Richmond, and give him a follow on the X, the Twitter at GHessRVA. We've got more coming your way at 757 Sports Talk. Don't touch that dial. You're watching with us on Cova Sports TV.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
Cova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit covapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
All right, I'm here with the victorious and elated head football coach of the Lake Taylor Titans, Hank Sawyer. His team wins it 27-21 over Magna Vista. Coach, you're going back to the state championship for the 7th time. How's it feel? And you got to make people like me that picked against you eat crow now. So how's it feel?
Well, it feels wonderful for a lot of reasons. We're older. We came out of the pandemic. Last year we were 3-7, and people can't believe it because we didn't even make the playoffs. Even when we played Petersburg last week, they didn't have a great record last year, but they went to the playoffs. And so we didn't have any playoff experience with these kids. When they were in the 9th grade, we lost the Phoebus over there in the regional finals. Those guys were just kind of on the bench. Mm-hmm. So I just feel great. I feel great for the kids.
Yeah, and that last play, Kevin Adams to Majerald Clark, 27 yards. Take me through it. He told me it was going to be a curl pattern, but as the play's ticking down, you had heartbreaking years past, but now you've been having the ecstasy. You're 7-0 in the state semis. This has got to be taking the cake right now, though.
It does. Kevin is a bulldog. He's so cool. He understands the game. Majerald Majerald wanted to make a play because some plays where he didn't make, he wanted to make some plays. He didn't want his year to end like that. And Magna Vista got a bull. They got a bull in the backfield, so we didn't want to go in overtime with him on the goal line to just give him 3 shots at it. So
how did you guys do it? Because on the broadcast on NFHS, Rod and I talked about where we felt this was going to be a game in the 40s. We could be last team with the ball last, but your defense really made a ton of plays today. And how about, Devon Powell, defensive player of the year for you.
Right.
All the sacks. He was a factor, as was Keon Johnson, who runs for 200-plus yards today. You had guys go both ways, and they persevered through this battle.
Well, I'm telling those guys, if you're all region, like you just got voted in all Eastern District and Players of the Year, you got to make plays for us.
Yeah.
And you saw all those guys walking around with them Lake Taylor State Championship games on. The eye of the eagle was looking at those guys, and they knew that.
For all those guys, and you see some guys that are now on your coaching staff, former players, there was a tradition at Lake Taylor.
Oh, yes.
You lost a little bit with some of the down years, but you guys have that pride. To see it today, all these smiles and happy faces. What's it mean to you?
Mike Woodson here, he when we won our first one, he was there. He has my back, and those guys, and they just looking. Some of them don't say a lot, or they may come out to practice and give a pep talk, but they're happy because once you coach or play at Lake Taylor's you forever.
Mm-hmm. One of the things we didn't really touch a ton about, but I know we did in the offseason, was your offensive line. This is the first time you brought back all 5 starters from a year ago. How much did they help in this matchup up front today?
They're some tough guys. You see them in there. Not only can they block, they can run.
Yeah.
They can run to the next level. And we challenge them at practice. If you last as a lineman, we get on them and all. But they are some phenomenal guys. They don't get a lot of credit, but they should. But you know what we do? We feed them a lot because we understand they like to eat, and they're making some play. Yeah. Keon Johnson had Keon Johnson had over 2,000 yards now. Yeah. 2,087.
Like 39 touchdowns. It's incredible.
Right. Furby has 14. The quarterback has 1,000.
You've had some great backs. We think of certainly Malik Newton and Daz Palmer's on your coaching staff. All these backs have over the years. What makes Johnson so special from your perspective?
It's just he got an extra heartbeat. He doesn't want to go down. You saw him. He refused for us to lose the game. You saw him out. He was running like come on, if y'all gonna beat me, catch me right now on this play. Come catch me. He made some plays.
Yeah, last two for you. I know you don't get caught up in it, but you have to take some personal satisfaction. And I even mentioned at one time that people were saying it's time for Coach Sawyer to give it up. You're now back in the state championship. I know it's not a told you so thing, but with all you've gone through, the COVID year, losing friends and loved ones like Coach Ford, people like that, what's this mean to you personally?
Everything. It just means, no one wants to, when you want to retire, when you're ready to retire, no one wants to be pushed away, on the front porch. You want to go when you're ready to go. And people said I ain't have it. In my mind, I still have it. I feel like I've lost more football than the average person knows, but people didn't want to believe that. And a lot of people wanted me to go home because they wanted to see younger people just take the job, And those old folks, we can hang around for a little while.
Lastly, I believe your wife back here, who's the girls' basketball coach, has 4 rings.
She has 4.
You have a chance to match her next week. You'll take on not Liberty Christian, the 2-time defending champ, Kettle Run. What do you know about them, and what's it going to take to get that ring?
Who am I taking on?
Kettle Run, who beat Liberty Christian. Yeah, they beat.
I don't know anything about Kettle Run.
So at least you're honest.
I don't even know where they're located.
I mean, and they lost last year to Liberty Christian. They were down big at halftime, so you're taking on a new opponent. So that's got to be neat. You're going back to Liberty. I know you'll probably have some good time at the Wood Grill.
We're going to the Wood Grill Friday. Somebody got to get the checks ready right now.
So tell me, what's it going to take as you learn more about this team? What will it take to finish the deal?
We're just going to have to come, bring our A games just like we did today, and never give up.
Congratulations. The Titans are back in the state championship. Go enjoy it.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you guys.
All right, we're here at the Wood Grill. Matt Hatfield alongside the original DJ Hat, JMU alum, class of 77, Mike Hatfield. Tell the audience the observation you just made.
We're at the Smoke Wood Grill, and there seems to be an enormous number of overweight people.
And that surprises you?
No, it's a buffet.
All right.
How'd they get in this condition?
What is your grade from tonight's festivities?
I'd say it's about a 9.
9 out of 10, okay. Yeah. What would put it over the top for you? Dancing girls?
Topless dancing girls.
No, don't say that on the show. You're a dirty man.
You asked me.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Unbelievable. I'm speechless after that. Back here on 757 Sports Talk with the Coach Ed Young, I'm Matthew Hatfield. Your reaction?
Mike Hatfield says it like it is. You ask him a question, he gave you an answer. So don't ask the question if you don't want a real answer. That's Mike Hatfield. Okay, he makes it. And going back to Hank Sawyer's interview, Hank, I like it. People say, us old guys got to get out of the way, let the younger guys run the show. A lot to be said for youth. I'm all for it. I wish I had it myself. But when coaches can still be an impact to their team, to their players, let alone winning. You want to win, yes, because it's your coach. Let them coach. And when you're in a level like Hank, he has a right to go out the way he wants. I don't think you force somebody like that out the door. Time for you. Now, if Hank's going 0 for 10 for 5 years in a row, you ain't got to tell him. He'll know, but he ain't doing that. So I like that interview with Hank, and that's why I always want to pull for him. Number one, he's got to get that title so that he gets off the honey-do list at home, because right now his wife has all the championships, so he has to do all what she asks.
Well, we've got more from the other perspective of that game with the Kettle Run coach Delmar Christian and the Lovey brothers. Yeah, we got a couple of siblings that are two-way standouts for the Kettle Run Cougars. They'll chat about that matchup with Lake Taylor coming up here, as well as our conversation with the VHSL Hall of Famer Robert Anderson, who went in the Hall of Fame earlier this year, and he's a longtime sports reporter in the state. Bristol Herald, Roanoke Times, now with us at VirginiaPreps.com and Cardinal News to get his quick hitter thoughts on the games today. But it is time now for NFL picks. It's a little bit out of order than we normally do it, Ed, but we're doing it now. And the NFL picks have not been too great for us lately. In fact, week 14, they were just downright miserable. And by the way, before I forget, I do have to shout out our man Bruce Pearl, because do you know he's going for championships today? Bruce Pearl's Virginia Beach Mustangs going for national championships today. I think they're playing in Florida. We're going to get Bruce on the show probably next week to catch up. His team was 3-0 when he texted me on Thursday. 3 undefeated teams playing for the title today, and they defeated 2 former national champions. The other 2 are 2-0. So how about that? Go Mustangs. Let's hope they get it done. And you've watched Mustangs football all year long with us on Cova Sports TV from the Plex. So go get it done, Bruce. Get a national championship. And maybe he'll let you not have his ring, but take a picture with his ring.
Yeah, that would be good. You know, one of my assistant coaches, James Way, is down there in Florida. wonder if they ran into each other. If they're coaching the same level. He has his football team down there. Missed the game last night because he's in Florida, and I think they finished 3-1. I got to ask him who he lost to. That was Bruce's team.
Well, you see the NFL standings, 500 for me, as I've had a few 1 and 2 weeks in a row. It's not going too well for me. And now we see Ed at 10 under 500. We see Bruce 4 under 500. We're going to try to make this happen. Keep it competitive. Keep it close. But, all right, here it is. Time now for the picks. Let's see what we got here for this particular episode of 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Speaking of Bruce, he's got his picks now. And we'll show them to you on the screen. For those out there wondering what he's got Bow Wows this week. The dogs are barking. Woof, woof, woof. Colts plus 13.5. Detroit plus 5.5. And the Chargers plus 5.5. So he's got the Colts playing the Seahawks with potentially Phillip Rivers. Speaking of the old folks home, I know you're pulling for your buddy and Hank Sawyer. But Phillip Rivers, I think he's older than both you and Hank. My gosh. Bill Wolcott saying like Terrors look good. They have, Bill. Detroit, 5.5 against the Rams, their former quarterback Matthew Stafford, and the Chargers against the Chiefs, who have been sputtering, lost on Sunday Night Football to the Texans of Houston. So 1 and 2. Remember last week I let you go first and you decided to punt. You punted it to me and you went 1 and 2. I went 1 and 2. So yet again, I'll let you have the option to go first or punt it back to me.
Well, I've got to win some games because this is just ridiculous. I've got to fire myself as a prognosticator. 10 games below 500? Yeah, I'm gonna have to move on. Let me think here. Should I give you? I got a feeling what games you want. I got to see if I can take your games. I have a couple that I really like. I'll go first. Give me, for my first pick, I'm going Dallas minus 5.5 over Minnesota.
You jerk face. 5.5. Wait, where did you get 5.5? I'm showing 6.5.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at something different than what you sent me, but it said 5.5. These are the latest from, I think it's ESPN.
Well, we'll give it to you, but you're just a cheater. You're just a cheater, pumpkin eater.
I'm minus 10. No way I'm catching either one of you guys if I go 3-0 the next 3 straight weeks.
This is true. And if the next game that you decide to take a point under, I'm going to have to investigate it with my crack staff. I'll have Mike Hatfield look it up to make sure you're not cheating here.
He's still at the Wood Grill.
He's still at the Wood Grill. No, he's not quite. He's trying to make his way there. Let's go to my 2 since you took one of mine. You know, the Bills, I don't see getting swept by the New England Patriots. It was a surprise they won the first meeting, New England, in Buffalo on a Sunday Night Football matchup. New England's been red hot with Mike Vrabel and Drake May. But Josh Allen and company have too much pride. As long as James Cook protects the football and runs it well, I think they'll get it done. So give me the Bills, laying the 1.5 with their shortest lines as a favorite.
Talk about dirt face. Look in the mirror, you'll see one. That was my next pick.
Wow, Dirtface. Hello, Woody out there watching with us. And if you
All
missed,
right,
if you're tuning in like Woody, as you can scan back and see our interviews we did with Gary Hess, as well as North Stafford Coach Marquez Hall. We got Robert Anderson coming up, as well as Kettle Run's Coach Delmar Christian, the Lovey brothers for the Cougars of Kettle Run. All right, my next pick, if I get to go 2 in a row, I'm going to take another team that lost in its first matchup. I think this is revenge week. AFC North. They're coming off a bad loss to their division rival in Pittsburgh. I don't see Baltimore, even as compromised as Lamar Jackson has been, losing 2 in a row in the division. Remember, Trey Hendrickson is out for Cincinnati. I know Joe Burrow has been playing well, but if you watch Joe Burrow's interview, by the way, he seemed like he's depressed and distraught and ready to give up football almost. I mean, I know he's a great talent, but Cincinnati's defense is still deplorable, and I don't see them winning this game. I think Derrick Henry will run well. Give me the Ravens, laying the 2.5 in Cincy. So I'm taking a couple of road short favorites, Ravens and Bills, to get back on the right track of things as they pursue playoff spots in the wide open AFC. Your next 2 and last 2.
Well, Baltimore was one I was looking at, so I got to cross that off the list again.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Yeah, pow, right in the kisser is right. All right, I'm going to go San Fran over Tennessee. Now, I'm looking at minus 11.5. Is that big? I mean, is that right? Because that's
It's 12.5. Why? Where are you getting these lines?
ESPN.
They're not part of this show. We're not on ESPN. We're on Cova Sports TV.
Well, COVID Sports TV doesn't have
No, it's not COVID Sports. Cova Sports TV.
That's Cova Sports TV.
I feel like you said COVID. All right, I'm going to give you 11.5, but you're cheating yet again.
Okay.
You're making up your lines like James Carville does with Tony Kornheiser. You're just making them up as you go.
And I'm going
over under.
Yeah.
Last week, I didn't go unders last week, which is probably why I lost.
I'm going over Kansas City and Chargers. 41.5. Is that correct?
41.5 seems super low. That can't be correct.
It's on every site that I've seen.
Every site that you've seen. It is 41.5. Good for you.
Bingo, bango. Give me that one.
Bingo, bango. Watch the final score be 24-17, and I'll laugh at you all the way to the wish the
The last couple of weeks, I've lost two of my games have been by half point.
Half a point. All right, so to recap, I got one more pick for me. Ed's going with the Cowboys, the Pokes minus 5.5, the Niners minus 11.5, and over 41.5 with KC and the Chargers, the Super Chargers of LA. You see Bruce's picks as he's going for national championships this week. He's taken 3 bow wows. Woof, woof. The dogs are barking with the Colts against Seattle. Thought about going checker on a checker with Bruce on that one. Lions plus the 5.5 against the Rams. And Matthew Stafford, Chargers plus the 5.5 against Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs. I'm going Bills minus 1.5, Ravens minus 2.5. Well, since you took Dallas, I can't take them. I'm going to stay in the AFC. It's an AFC week. And defense wins championships. And I can't figure out for the life of me why the Broncos at home are a dog to the Green Bay Packers. Game is in Denver, and I'm trying to figure that one out for the life of me here. So, based on that, I'm going to take Denver plus the 2.5 against the visiting Pack, who are not quite all the way back. I think Denver's defense will mess Jordan Love up enough as the Broncos try to hold off the Chargers and Chiefs and win that AFC West. And more importantly, remember now, they could have the incentive if Buffalo beats New England. Denver is eyeing the number 1 seed, which is home field throughout the AFC playoffs. So I think that will be a little carrot of incentive for Sean Payton's crew with second-year quarterback Bo Nix directing his hot and cold offense. Maybe they're hot enough, just enough to win that game. So there you have it. Those are the NFL picks here on 757 Sports Talk. We got our timeout coming your way, and when we return, you'll hear from Robert Anderson, longtime high school sports scribe in VA. You're watching with us here on Cova Sports TV.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
well, no, we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in no phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here is Matt Hatfield.
And welcome you back to 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe, and interact with us wherever you're tuning in on this state championship Saturday. Big weekend for high school football in the state of Virginia, and we are so delighted to be joined by a special guest. He is I call him the Dean of Sports Writing now that we have in Virginia. No longer Marshall Johnson with us. He's been doing it for more than 40 years. Cut his teeth at the Bristol Herald-Courier and then went to the Roanoke Times. He spent 40-plus years at both of those papers, did outstanding work, was honored for his excellence in sports coverage as far as the writing side of things goes for high school sports, and was inducted this past April in the Virginia High School League Hall of Fame. I think he's going to go in the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame one day as well. You see him with the better half. We're now joined by our pal, Robert Anderson. Robert, good to have you on the program. Congrats again on the Hall of Fame. That was a special weekend for you in April, wasn't it?
That was a good weekend. That picture is actually from the VIA Hall of Fame banquet I was a guest at. Thanks to Jimmy Hollins up there in Charlottesville. They do a great job. And if you'll notice, I got to talk and meet the gentleman pictured over my wife's shoulder, the great Mr. George Lancaster, who unfortunately passed away not too long after that. What a wonderful person he is or was, and just very sad. But yeah, it was a great first class event at the VHSL and the VIA. Both of those groups put on a tremendous banquet.
That's terrific. And George Lancaster was one of the best. Rest in peace to him. He was a good friend of ours and did so much with the youth in Highland Springs, just an icon. And for you, before we dive in on these games, and I know you have a love of high school sports and high school football, just like myself, that you've been doing this so long, and your stories, your profiles, you've been an asset to not just the Bristol Herald and then the Roanoke Times, and now writing for the Cardinal News and us at VirginiaPreps.com as a correspondent from time to time in your quasi-retirement, if you will. But what got you into this and your love for high school sports? Tell us where it all started for you and what makes you enjoy it so much.
I don't know. I was thinking way back, my dad, we lived in Martinsville, and which is halfway between Roanoke and Greensboro. And, my dad was a sports fan. My grandfather pitched in Major League Baseball. In fact, he was a 19-year-old pitcher for Connie Mack in 1917. They called him up and stuck him out on the mound in Comiskey Park in Chicago, and the fourth batter he faced was some guy named Shoeless Joe Jackson. And my grandfather was 19 years old. So, we've been a sports family forever. My dad subscribed to papers in North Carolina and Virginia and the Martinsville paper. We got 3 newspapers in our house. So I'm growing up reading papers. And I remember sitting on the couch one day thinking, maybe I might be able to do this one day. It looks like fun. And I started my first job. I started at $135 a week. And I was sitting in the stands at a baseball game thinking, wow, I'm getting paid to do this, and pretty cool. So,
what makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way?
What is more? Is it more reps? More strength, more stamina. We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement.
I think at college I realized
confidence. It's looking better, feeling better.
Being able to write a term paper on a deadline, I think, maybe I can do this too. So, that's kind of where it started.
Really cool, really cool. Now, getting in the Hall of Fame, when you got that call, what did that mean to you?
Well, it meant that somebody nominated me, and that's how you get in. And in my speech, they asked me to make a speech, and I did. And they thought I might have a different perspective than some of the coaches or the athletes because I'd seen a lot of things. And I made the point, you have to be nominated. And the schools, unfortunately, as time goes on and you get administrations change and athletic directors change and excuse me, a lot of the schools don't know their own history and administrations change and athletic directors change and excuse me, a lot of the schools don't know their own history and or they're too consumed with the day-to-day business of running a school and there are a lot of people who need to be in the Hall of Fame that just don't get nominated. It's embarrassing that I'm the only Martinsville High School graduate in the VHS Hall of Fame because I mean, look at some of the athletes that they've had there, but they're not nominated. And if Sandy Hadaway, the athletic director at Salem High School, nominated me, and they graciously voted for me. So that's you have to be nominated.
Yeah, it's very much the deal there. And to get in the Hall of Fame with some of the people that you've covered, all these different sports figures, it's also got to be the really, I guess, someone that's done it so long. Touching thing. You see these people that you've chronicled and documented. My next question for you, diving on these themes here, Robert, is you got a couple of stories over your years, 40 years, that really have had the biggest lasting effect on you or even the people that you covered? Any couple of stories that would be maybe your favorites or stories that you're the most proud of?
You know, it's hard to say that. There's a story that I did. I wasn't here in the 90s when this happened, but there was an event that happened at Victory Stadium, the old football stadium in Roanoke, where a young player from Pulaski County lost his life during the game, a very freak accident. And excuse me, later, the player who blocked him, which was a very clean block, they were playing William Fleming. There was nothing about the play that was, anything other than a normal football play. This young man years later was murdered, and that's been an unsolved murder, in fact. And these two guys, they both wore the same jersey number in high school, 77. I just did. It was 10 years later. I was able to talk to a lot of the people that were involved, Joel Hicks and Coach Miller at Fleming, and to get their memories of it. And that story, it's still out there. Marty Smith somehow came across that story the other day and got a hold of me and said he wanted to find out a little bit more about it. And that one is kind of stuck with me for all the time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Very, very powerful stuff you've been able to write and document and chronicle over the years. So let's go through the high school football championships, shall we? My friend, we've got Class 6, Oscar Smith taking on North Stafford. Oscar Smith trying to go for a second title in a row in Class 6 after ousting James Madison in a close one. That was one of the 7 games we had decided by 6 points or less in the semifinal round. In Class 5, you have the Maury Commodores trying to get a three-peat against Highland Springs. Lauren Johnson, former Hokie of Virginia Tech, he's got his fair share of rings on his fingers too, as the Springers are back in the title game. They've beaten Maury the last 3 times in the postseason they've met, but they've lost the last 2 regular season encounters to the Commodores. Class 4's got Varina, the runner-up last year to Phoebus, taking on Loudoun County, who's played, you correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure anybody's played more games decided by 2 points or less than these guys, as they've won 3 of the 4 games decided by 1 point, and they squeak it out against Lafayette in the state semifinal round. A newbie on the scene, if you will, to championship Saturday. Lake Taylor under Hank Sawyer going for their 4th championship under him. They finished runner-up 3 times under him against Kettle Run, who last year lost to Liberty Christian in the title game. They rallied from a massive deficit, 19 points down in the semis, and here they are with a new coach, Delmar Christian, who was interim coach in the offseason. And Lake Taylor, who was 3-7 last year, takes them on a very intriguing Class 3 final. Class 2, I know this one is pretty close to you too, in your neck of the woods. Glenvar, the only unbeaten left here with the record setter and Brody Doyot, the Charlotte signee, 14-0, taking on Strasburg, the runner-up last year, who beat Pocosa for the 2nd straight year in the semis, trying to get the title this time. And then you have in Class 1 the championship game of 3 seeds, Rappahannock and Rye-Co. We could take this a lot of different directions for you, but I guess of those 6 championship games, is there a juiciest storyline that jumps out at you the most?
Maybe just in general, I think I brought this up to you a month or so ago. It's the number of these top teams in Virginia that had gone out of state and faced the best teams they could find, and in fact have lost to a lot of these teams. Oscar Smith, Varina, Maury. I think even Loudoun County lost to a West Virginia team. I mean, a lot of these teams have gone out and found teams to play, and I think it probably helped them. If you look at even it wasn't an out-of-state team, but you look at Rye-Co, a lot of people wonder why are they scheduling Lord Botetourt in the opener, and look, here we are, and that it's had to help them, face that kind of competition. I think so. In general, that would be my one theme. I think looking at all these games.
No doubt, I think it's a great point. And Glenvar being the last undefeated team is certainly a storyline. To follow up on that, I mean, there's been so many, we know about some of the off-the-field stories too involving Union, who got bounced in the state semis, and Brookville and so on and so forth. But it's so hard. We've talked about it, to go wire to wire now with those schedules that these teams play out-of-state competition. And we see it in college and pro football, to go 15-0. You remember the days when it wasn't 15 games. It was 13, 14 games, and it was AAA, AA, single A. What would it signify for Coach Clifford and Glenvar if they finish this deal to go unbeaten as the only one? And also, what would it mean if they don't, and we go an entire high school football season with all your years and your perspective on this, if we have 6 champions crowned and they all have at least one blemish?
That would be unusual. I'll let you do the legwork on that one. Scour the record books, but
right.
No undefeated. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you got injuries. The Glenvar quarterback Brody Doyot was hurt at Floyd County game. We didn't know, if he had a broken collarbone or a separated shoulder, or was he going to play anymore? Or, you got injuries. You got all kinds of situations that rise in the season. You got good opponents. You got weather. You got everything. And like I said, it's a lot easier to go 0-10 than 10-0.
No, that's a very good, true point by you there. You look at the football across the state. I think there's so many good pockets of it, whether you're in the Roanoke area, Northern Virginia, Fredericksburg, Tidewater, Richmond. Certainly Tidewater's got a chance to get 3 championships. The 804 technically can get 3 if Highland Springs, Varina, and Rappahannock, which is an 804 team, gets it done in Class 1. I think one of the bigger surprises to me, you tell me how you feel as far as how the postseason's gone, is that we don't have Essex or Riverheads here. They both got bounced in the semifinal round in the region final round. Then he made it to the state semifinal round, and Rappahannock, which had lost to Essex the last 2 times they played, getting this far is something that really caught my eye, because we really kind of expect every year you can almost pencil in these Class 1 teams like Essex and Riverheads, and it didn't happen that way with a couple of 3 seeds.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Rappahannock. I know the running back's outstanding, and obviously it's Riverheads. I think it's, losing the coach like Casto has to have an impact. I'm nothing disrespect to the successor, obviously, but then they went back up to 2A and they lost some games, and that kind of momentum gets stalled. Maybe you get a little too used to winning, and all of a sudden you're not anymore, and things start peeling off. Maybe that's part of it, but obviously Rappahannock's got a good football team. I know Region 1A has, historically been Essex, but there's about time somebody else jumped up there.
Mm-hmm. How about the Class 3 storylines we got here with Delmar Christian, interim coach, that whole situation? The Liberty Christian game, I don't know about you last week. I was broadcasting the Magna Vista Lake Taylor game with Rod Johnson on the FHS network. We all thought that game was over, that LCA is going back for a 3-peat, and you've seen Gideon Davidson up close and personal, who's now at Clemson and doing quite well there in the ACC. I felt like all year long it was Heritage or LCA whoever came out of that game. I'm also pretty surprised that we have the A and B teams here in the final, not the C and D, but I'm sure you'll tell me too. Hold on, Matt. Those teams like Lake Taylor and Kettle Run, they have pretty good athletes as well.
Yeah, like I told you the other day, that Lake Taylor team that beat Tuscarora a couple of years ago had the best defense I think I've seen in high school. I mean, all those kids were 6'2", 200 pounds who could run, and I think Tuscarora had a hard time running a play in that game. So I don't know Lake Taylor's personnel. Magna Vista is obviously been there before. They've been successful. They gave up 50 points in that loss in overtime to GW Danville. So, that made me wonder a little bit about what was going to happen against Lake Taylor. But, I don't really know the Kettle Run coaching situation to speak on that. But I do know Liberty Christian, you lose two guys that go to Clemson at that level, and they've got a lot of juniors on their roster as well. But, that must have been a heck of a comeback by Kettle Run.
Sure. In our last couple minutes here with you, we thank you for coming on the program. I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire with predictions. I do that up there on VirginiaPreps.com, but we thank you immensely for your contributions and helping us put some of these in-depth previews out for the audience and the readers and the fans to check out. But of the 6 championship games, you got a gut feel or a thought on which might be either the most entertaining, most likely to go to overtime of the 6? What's kind of your one that we're talking about the most Monday? What's our takeaway Monday morning reaction? Because you're pretty good at maybe forecasting what we'll be chatting about following these finals.
I think the lower classification games are going to be your closer games. I got a feeling, that Varina is just really. I mean, from everything I hear, they're loaded. That's going to be a tough task there in 4A. I think the Glenver game will be fairly low scoring, even though you've got the record-setting quarterback there. And then the single A game, I don't know it'll necessarily be low scoring. I don't know if Rye Cove can score enough to match Rappahannock or not, but I think one of those teams is going to be a state champion, and that's I don't think anybody had that down at the start of the season.
No, I don't think so either. That was, and you're right. You're spot on with that Rappahannock Rye Cove. I think if the score, it's one of those games where there's a magic number for a team. If it gets to like 28, you feel like that's too much for Rye Cove. They want to keep it below a certain threshold. They can come out on top against Rappahannock. But it should be a lot of fun with Rappahannock, Rye Cove, Glenver, Strasburg, Kettle Run, Liberty Christian. Kettle Run, Lake Taylor. After Kettle Run beat Liberty Christian, you have Varina, Loudoun County in Class 4, Maury taking on Highland Springs. Familiar nemesis, if you will, and then Oscar Smith, North Stafford in Class 6. Before we let you run here, you are a Martinsville High grad, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Big year for the Bulldogs, it looks like, with Gary Hall and company. And I know you're always loving the basketball scene. Love to get you back on when I have my partner, Coach Ed Young, with me. We can talk some hoops with you. You've covered so many great ones over the years. The likes of J.J. Reddick come to mind, and so many all across the state, whether they're from Roanoke or not. But should be a neat hoop season this year as well.
Yeah, I think so. The weather's kind of interrupted it a little bit. Martinsville opened their season last Tuesday, and here we are 8 days later, and they haven't played again. I know they've had a couple games already postponed, and Coach Hall's doing some good things there, trying to emphasize the tradition that's in play at the school, and he's got a good team. He's got 3 or 4 really good players, and God knows what he's doing. But you talk about players I've seen over time. I'm still a Moses Malone guy. He was in my graduating class in 1974. God rest his soul. But I'll take Moses still to this day.
You're not going to get an argument from me, but we're going to – next time we get you on, I'll let you diligently prepare for this, because Coach Young, my basketball partner, now coaching at Smithfield after his many, many years at Nansemond River, also has coached at Suffolk High, won a championship there, Green Run in Norview, a couple stops in between college ball too. He'll want me to do this for you, but to get you your Robert Anderson's all Virginia, like top 5, first team, second team, third team. But I know Moses is taking the center spot, but then you're still leaving Alonzo, either if you put him at power forward or on the bench. You got guys like Bryant Stith and J.J. Reddick and Allen Iverson. And, Ronald Curry might have the names you can come up with up and down the board are you're going to be leaving off some great players if you do a first, second, and third team. You know that,
you
right?
put Grant Hill in there for sure.
Grant Hill, yeah. Who just got in the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame, by the way. He's got to be a first-team guy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, from South Lake. So we'll pin you down for that, because that will get a lot of conjecture, and we can have fun with it for sure. But he is the Virginia High School League Hall of Famer. He's got pride from both Martinsville and Emory and Henry, and he's done some terrific work over the years, Bristol Herald Courier, Roanoke Times, and now with us at VirginiaPreps.com and the Cardinal News. Check out his great work, Robert Anderson. Thank you so much, my friend. You be well, and you can show the audience you got the Duke sweatshirt today, right?
I do. I have the Dukies on. Okay. That's. Let me just say that no other ACC school has ever held the women's basketball championship, the men's championship, and the football title at the same time. It's the first time it's ever happened.
That's a great nugget. You were texting me the other day, so you did catch up with our buddy David Teal, another Hall of Famer in his own right. That's never happened. How about that?
I'm a North Carolina native, and like I said, I had surgery as a young infant at Duke, and I'm connected to it, and that's where that's coming from.
Pretty cool stuff. Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the championship Saturday. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Matt.
It's Robert Anderson, our guest here on 757 Sports Talk on Kova Sports TV. Make sure you hit the like button, the share button, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Check out On the Hash with Hatfield, 757 Sports Talk, all of our live broadcasts and our podcast, plus the links to things like we do at virginiapreps.com as well. We'll take a timeout. We've got more coming your way. It is 757 Sports Talk, and you're watching with us on Kova Sports TV. Stay tuned.
It's 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and the one and only Coach Ed Young, every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Kova Sports TV. From high school football and basketball to the NFL, MLB, college sports, and the NBA, if it's making headlines, they are breaking it down. Bold takes, big-time guests, and a few laughs, especially at the expense of that basketball coach Ed Young. Catch it on Cox TV and your view, and don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at Kova Sports TV.
Here's the handoff to Johnson. He's going to be stuffed. He's going to spin away, though, and ends up turning a negative into a big run, and he could be off to the distance. 35-30, the 20, the 10. Keon Johnson is gone. 61 yards to the house as Johnson turned a nothing into a something and a big something, a touchdown to give Lake Taylor their first lead of the afternoon.
Absolute disaster for Magna Vista on that play because they had come out of the locker room. They had got 2 quick stops in the run game. They gave up a little first down 10-yard out, but Lake Taylor went to a double set there instead of their veer, spread the field a little bit more. Once Johnson broke that first tackle, he spun out. There was a lot more space behind him, sprinted out. Really big start for them.
And welcome back to On the Hash with Hatfield. Like, share, and subscribe to Kova Sports TV on YouTube. We have some special guests with us from the Kettle Run Cougars, the Region 3B champs, yet again as they're getting ready to play the Lake Taylor Titans in the Class 3 state championship on Saturday. We had the head football coach of the Cougars and the Region 3B coach of the year, Delmar Christian, along with a couple of his standout players. We've got Colton Lubby and Carter Lubby, as they have been two of the leaders for the Cougars, as you'll see some of the stats scrolling across the ticker here in just a moment. You're on the Hash with Hatfield as we say hello to you guys. Congratulations, Coach. Congratulations, Colton and Carter. State championship coming up on Saturday, you guys. This is how you dreamed it up in August, huh?
Yeah, thanks. Yes, sir.
Coach, let me start with you. I know it's been a wild year there at Kettle Run. You lose in the state championship game to Liberty Christian, and you end up playing this team, by the way, the state semifinals. Coaching change, you've been on the staff, and we'll get into your background, of course, but the change at the head position, and we won't dive too much into that, some off-the-field things. Take me through the process of now there's a vacancy. You don't know what's going to take place. You have some good players you have to replace, but you also brought back a lot of key components, and here we are in December where I'm not sure too many outside those in your locker room and your community, those at Kettle Run, thought this was even possible.
Yeah, no, again, it's a testament to these young men. When things started to shape up for this year, the one thing that we really wanted was to maintain consistency with the program because we knew we had a good, solid group of seniors and returners coming back, and we just wanted to do right by them. So give them a shot at where we are now, and that we're one away, so I feel pretty good, and I think it was all worth it there at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, it's about these young men.
And I want to get the thoughts here of both Colton and Carter here in a moment, as they've been balling out for you all year long. Colton is a senior, Carter is a junior. I think I got that right, guys? Colton, yes, senior, Carter junior. Okay, good deal. And we'll go through their numbers in a second, as they've been some key contributors. We'll talk about other guys like Dyson Tapscott and Zach Roth, among others here. But, Coach, before I bring them in and get their thoughts on it, last week's game, and you're a guy that's got a background we'll dig into, Fauquier High School, right? James Madison University. You played this game at a pretty high level. What your
Yes,
kids
sir.
did down 19. I'm in the press box on the NFHS Network calling the Magna Vista Lake Taylor game. People literally had on their brackets LCA written in pencil, not pen. They thought the game was over. How did you guys pull it off? Because at halftime, that had to be one of the best speeches you and your staff ever gave your kids, because second half, you guys looked like the best team in the state. After the first half, not so much.
Yeah, we came out and we didn't really execute really well, and we weren't playing as a team. So, we just had to fix those things. And it's testament to these young men to just, settle in and, hey, things are going to be all right. And, the one key message from that halftime was, hey, we can play with these guys. We just have to prove it to the world now.
For sure. I'm going to start with you here, Colton, as a senior. Then Carter, your brother, can follow up here. And defensive player of the year, I believe it was. You just got in the region. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on that. 61
Thank
total
you.
tackles for this young man, 8 interceptions, a couple for loss. And we'll tell you about Carter's numbers here in a second. He's been balling out, too. You see it scrolling across our ticker here, too. But, Carter, you can follow up here with what Colton says. The coaching change happens. Coach Porterfield steps down, a lot of uncertainty swirling around. When Coach Christian got named the interim head coach, what was y'all's thoughts? Did you feel like, all right, we've got a chance here, senior season for to get back to this thing? How much was that a sigh of relief for you guys, knowing that there was so much uncertainty when that whole thing took place?
Just with like a coach staying that's already been in the program and everything, it was just kind of like a confidence booster, seeing that nothing really was going to change too far outside the box, so we could kind of just stay in our system. And, I feel like it was a sigh of relief for a bunch of our seniors and people who are returning and staying inside the program, that not much was going to change, and we were going to keep being ourselves and being a winning program.
How about for you, Carter? You've had 48 tackles, 4 for loss this year to go with your 981 yards rushing and 14 touchdowns on the ground as you're closing in on 1,000. You're geared up for junior year. People are probably not thinking Kettle Run's going to do too much after the pieces you graduated. Was there also a little bit of a chip on the shoulder and motivation for you all to prove some of the naysayers or doubters wrong, or show what you all were about?
Yeah, we've been, for as long as I've been in the program, that's been a thing since we went to the States the first time back in 23, I believe. It was just a one-time thing, and then get right back 2 years later, do it again. And then here we are this year about to go and hopefully win it this time. So, it doesn't really faze us anymore. We just know we play our brand of ball, and there's not too many teams out there that can really stop us.
Coach Christian, speak on just the unity, the bond you all have at Kettle Run, because certainly what transpired in the last year could have pulled apart a lot of programs and teams and players and coaches. But it feels like, looking at the families, you have the Lubbies here, you have the Tapscotts very much involved. It feels like you have a close-knit group that you weren't going to be broken from what transpired, and this was going to make you all stronger.
Yeah, definitely. We have a close-knit community at Kettle Run just in itself. But really, at the end of the day, like I shared with you earlier, it came down to, man, this is what these kids deserve. Like, these kids worked hard. We knew they had the potential to do really great things. So we didn't want to let them down. And so, a bunch of us got together and that have that same mindset. That's the thing with this staff is, we have, stitched a staff together in a time that, most people had already put their staffs together. And so it was really that common theme of, hey, let's do it for these kids. So, and again, hats off to these guys, man. They're really something special.
They really are. We're talking with Colton Carter Lubby and Coach Delmar Christian of the Kettle Run Cougars, getting ready to take on the Lake Taylor Titans in the VHSL Class 3 State Football Championship on Saturday at Liberty University in Lynchburg. It's a 5 o'clock kickoff in that matchup. Kettle Run at 13-1 on the year. The Titans of Lake Taylor at 12-2. We'll get coaches' thoughts as well as the players' thoughts on that in a moment here on Cova Sports TV on the Hash with Hatfield and 757 Sports Talk as well. For Carter and Colton, I'll let you go first this time. Carter and Colton, you can follow up here. At what point did you all realize this was a special team that could get back to the state championship? Was it in the offseason, or was there a particular turning point as far as a game goes or moment in your season where you knew, like, we got a chance to be playing in December yet again? Carter?
I've been playing with this select group of boys since I was about 6 years old, so I knew that what we had was special. But it was just a question of kind of who was going to fill in roles at key roles such as quarterback. And I'm really proud of Dyson for being able to step up and take on that role because he was previously a receiver. So, but I think the turning point for us was the loss of Millbrook. We had been spanking teams up until then, and then we got high on our ego, and it was kind of reality check. But I mean, since then, I'd argue we're a different team. We came out from that game, played our two biggest regular season games of the year against Hanley and Sharando, and beat them both. So I mean, I would consider that our turning point.
Awesome. And how about you, Colton? Do you agree with your brother there and Carter? And what's different at all about this team this year as opposed to in 2024?
Yeah, I agree with Carter on that. I feel like we were ahead of ourselves at Millbrook, hadn't quite developed as well as quickly as we had last year. So I feel like Millbrook was a game for us to just kind of slow down, get back to our basics and learn. And then I feel like Hanley, Sharando, we came out like swinging. But I mean, I've been playing with this same senior class from 8th grade to now. And I mean, we've won games throughout the whole of our high school career. So I just feel like us connecting and bonding over those years is what's kind of led us to this success this year. And just like our kind of will to push through and overcome like kind of what happened in the off season, to just kind of forget about it and move on and be like, we're still going to play football. We're still going to try to be a dominant team in the state. And well, we're in states now, so.
Yeah, the numbers prove that out. Coach Christian, two very mature, heady young men you got here, and both Colton and Carter Lubby. What makes them tick and make them unique? And also speak about not just those two, but guys like Dyson Tapscott making that transition from wide receiver to quarterback. I know he's had a lot of picks the last couple of years. Peter Kuzma, your leading tackler, and so many of these contributors have helped you get to 13-1, and you hope to finish it off at 14-1.
Yeah, like again, all of these guys, just so much heart and, great competitors as well. And especially these two young men on here, like these guys, they want to win. Like they'll fight you tooth and nail to get that win. And really at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, is like all these young men are just fighters with big heart and a passion for the game. So I really appreciate that and admire them for that.
For Colton and Carter here, we'll talk about Lake Taylor in a second. When you get LCA, you see that's the matchup in the semis. I know there were 6, and I know Gideon Davidson is gone from that team, as well as Easton Ware, who's a big factor in trenches. And the game's not going your way at halftime. Was there ever any doubt, though, that like we can make this comeback? What gave you all the belief that you were capable of doing what you did last week in the second half?
I feel like just coming out one play at a time, just trying to carve our way back into it, and playing as a team was just kind of our mindset. We never we just had bad things. We didn't play very well, and we had bad circumstances kind of happen to us in the first half of that game. And I mean, I don't feel like it should have been that far of a gap for us. We had like the punt inside the 10 that hit our player, and we fumbled, and they picked it up and scored on that. And then the last drive before the half was kind of bad for our defense, but I don't feel like we were ever really a worse team than them. So, I mean, if they could put up 20, 28 in the first half, I feel like if we've already got 9, we can definitely put up enough points to overcome that. Was kind of just our mindset. And I didn't really have any doubt. I felt like if the boys really came together, I feel like we could have easily, well, not easily, but it would have been a battle, but I feel like we could have beat that team for sure.
What about for you, Carter?
Yeah, I mean, obviously not the way you want to start out a big game like that, but I mean, I really think when you kind of get to a point where you realize it's possibly your last game, you just leave it all out on the field. And I'm really proud of all the seniors for like sticking out first drive back from the half, stopping them. And I mean, big time players make big time plays. So I mean, obviously Colton with that game winning touchdown, and I'm just the whole group I'm just proud of in general.
We're chatting with Carter Lubby, Colton Lubby, and Coach Delmar Christian, the Region 3B Coach of the Year. Colton, the Region 3B Defensive Player of the Year, our guests here on the Hash with Hatfield as we get ready for the state championship game coming up at Liberty University in Lynchburg. Part of the double dip, it'll be Varina, Loudoun County in Class 4, kicking it off at 11:30 a.m., followed by Kettle Run. The Cougars taking on the Titans of Lake Taylor, the Region 3A champs. And, Coach, you got Lake Taylor. Hank Sawyer's a legend of this thing. He's won 3 rings. I know you saw the end of their game with Magna Vista, and I want to get the boys' thoughts on this as well here, your young men. But I know in hearing from Coach Sawyer, he mentioned how elusive your quarterback is in Tapscott and a lot of respect for your program. What jumps out about them on film? What stands out about their team?
Oh, man, those guys, they are, again, great team. Again, great legacy there. And the one thing that really stands out is just that they're very athletic. And really the number 5, the Johnson kid back there, he's hard to bring down. And that's the one thing that really stands out is you got to be able to tackle him if you want to be able to stay in this game. And he's a bruiser.
And for you guys, Colton and Carter, when you see a player like that run for 273 yards on Magna Vista, who had a great year and has those 2 long touchdown runs, does it bring back some of the flashbacks of playing Gideon Davidson last year? And what are the things you have to do better in the championship round this time as opposed to last year to get the outcome you want?
I feel like you just got to hit him low. He's a bigger dude. And, I mean, hit him in the legs, he should go down. But, yeah, that's about it. Just hit him low. I feel like we'll be good.
Carter?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give credit where credit's due. He's a good ball player. But I think we got our guys on defense, too, that can stop him and their offense in general. And, I mean, I wouldn't underestimate our offense in the least, the way we've been putting up numbers in the past week. So we recognize that they have good players and they're a good squad, but we also have faith in our own team and our ability to come out in big games.
Awesome. Last 2 for you guys, and I'll finish up with Coach. And we thank you so much for coming on the program here, giving us some time on championship week. All right, I want you guys to talk about each other. Carter, you can go first. Tell us why Colton's one of the best around the state. And then Colton can follow up about why you're a player to watch out for, not just this year, but beyond that in 2026. Go ahead, Carter. What makes Colton such a factor for your Kettle Run football team?
I mean, yeah, obviously I've known the kid my whole life, been playing with him. Never really played with a kid as much hard as he has, so it's just really just a blessing and an honor to be playing alongside him, because not too many dudes can say that they've grown up and played their last high school games ever with their brother right next to them. So, I mean, win or lose, it really is just a blessing to be out there with him. But, I mean, I don't doubt him in the least. Other people overlook him because of his size, but I don't see that as an issue for him in the least, because, I mean, he's leading the first team defensive player in the district in the region. So, yeah.
Colton, he's not always that nice to you. I'm sure he's always getting on your nerves at times. But say some good things about him, because he's an important key for your team on both sides of the ball, right?
Yeah, Carter's a dude. He fears nobody. He fears nothing. He's an athlete, and he's just, when he gets on the field, he's an angry dude. He doesn't care who it is, how big they are. He wants to run through anybody that he sees. And, I mean, he's just a dude that he doesn't like to be disrespected. And anybody that thinks they can run for a yard on him, he's going to try to prove them wrong. And I admire that about him. It's been a blessing getting to play with him one last year.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to take Coach Christian off the screen. Don't worry, he won't hear this. This is a secret question here. I want to know who does the best impersonation of Coach Christian on the team A, and then B, you guys tell me who's the fastest dude on the team. You can pick yourself. I'm sure you're going to say you're faster than your brother, but give me who the fastest dude is on the team. And who gives the best impersonation of Coach Christian? I want to hear it. Go ahead.
Best impersonation is neither of us. It's I don't know if you know him, but it's Jonathan Taylor. I'll tell you that much.
JT, okay,
he can give you a good impersonation of Coach Christian.
That's why he's not on this tonight. He's because he can do the imitation. Okay, good to know.
Yes, sir. I'll own up to it one time and one time only. Carter's probably the fastest dude on the team. He's faster than me, but
really,
so one time only statement from me. But
wow, I'm surprised you give your brother. So that's got to mean something to you, Carter. The bro said that you're faster than him. You can outrun him when you pants him or do something you're not supposed to. But wow, how about that? Something else there. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I'll bring back in Coach Christian. He didn't hear any of that. He was muted. He missed all that. But Coach Christian, to finish up here with you, I know it's a joy for you. Just speak on taking this job, because a lot of people could have, given what transpired, they could have looked at it as not a pleasant situation. They could have gone elsewhere. What's it mean for you to be rewarded this way, getting Coach of the Year, seeing your kids get these kind of accolades, and having a chance to redeem themselves and win the championship coming up Saturday? Because you do have a tall, Titan foe in front of you, but to get back here has got to be rewarding in itself.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's all about these young men, and it's an honor to be able to lead these young men, because they're such great young men. And again, such great heart and great effort, and just, again, this commitment and passion to this one goal that we're all trying to reach. And unfortunately, there's only one team that can do it. And, we put our work, and, we're going to see where that puts us there at the end of the night on Saturday. So really that's what it is at the end of the day. And again, we're pleased to be back here, but getting there that's not the goal. It's about winning it. So we really are focused on that at this point.
Well, I'm sure there's some things you even learned from an assistant standpoint going into the head coaching position, having been in this game a year ago now, back to it. But I also want to know, being that you are at JMU Duke, how pumped are you that your Dukes are in the college football playoffs too, my man? I mean, look, they get all the way there. They win the Sun Belt Championship. I do the ODU games for broadcasting, and my dad's a JMU alum, class of 77, so I hear about it all the time with this rural rivalry. Yeah, it's razzing me all the time about it. But it's got to be a memorable year for you on that front too, not to see just your kids get back to the state championship in your first year as a head coach, but your alma mater doing so well in the playoff.
Yeah, I can't say enough. And, the guys hear it all the time, and they know. They actually have they have some alum in their family as well, these two young men. But, hey, this past weekend, from Friday night, them winning their first ever conference championship game, and the only one we've been allowed to play in, to Saturday, us winning, and then Sunday, us getting the bid and to the college football playoffs. Man, it was such a great weekend. Truly blessed.
Awesome. Before I let you run here, any final words you'd like to share about these young men and just the chance to play the state championship and what this year's meant to you? Because I know this is going to be something that they'll remember for a lifetime, and you always want the outcome to go your way, but certainly what you've done here to get to this point is pretty cool.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll say about both these young men, they're brothers, and that's one of the more unique things, like to have two guys, and they play next to one another. They have two guys that play next to one another, and as brothers, and they're always around each other, but they complement each other so well. Like, really, I'm just truly just to get blessed to have coached them, and at the same time, it's just.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis, but if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams Deloitte, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage.
Sometimes I'm in awe of what they're able to do. Just, sometimes as a coach, you just have to stand back and be like, hey, you guys can figure it out. And they do in a lot of instances. So I just wanted my hats off to them and, the whole team in regards to how they do that and work well together.
Terrific. Well, Colton Carter, hopefully coaches will make that number 7 guy have to run extra laps for what you guys shared earlier. But all the best to you guys on Saturday against the Titans of Lake Taylor, as they'll be the Region 3A champs taking on the Region 3B champs in the VHSL Class 3 state championship. Coach Delmar Christian, Colton Lubby, Carter Lubby, thank you so much. Congratulations and all the best this week and beyond.
Thanks, sir. Thank you very much, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
You got it. It's On the Hash with Hatfield. We'll take a timeout. We've got more coming your way. Keep it tuned, locked and loaded to 757 Sports Talk and On the Hash with Hatfield right here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll take a timeout and come back with more.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, Advanced Diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
Kova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit kovapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
All right, we're back here on 757 Sports Talk with DJ Mike Hatfield, class of 77 JMU alum. You've discovered something else, haven't you?
There's a customer here wearing a rug. It's a toupee, but it's obvious he's wearing a toupee.
So he doesn't get a 10.
It doesn't, no. It doesn't even look like he's on the air.
Will you pass along yours for him?
No.
Okay.
I know I'm bald. That's why I get my hair cut short.
All right.
I'm overdue for one.
All right. Lastly, Dukes and Monarchs, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. I know you're upset about the 1 hour later start time. Who wins at Chartway Arena in Norfolk?
Dukes. You asked me.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Back here on 757 Sports Talk with the Coach Ed Young. I am Matthew Hatfield. Let's put the finishing touches on this episode of the program. Ed, pretty busy show. Our man Woody wanted to know how things went last night. I'm not sure you want to rehash this. He's late tuning in.
Well, Woody saw our game against Lafayette. Woody, we were.
I thought he saw the Isle White game.
Okay, maybe was it the Isle White game? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
It was completely the opposite. We were out of white last night.
Ooh.
And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, I know you have practice to dart off to, but before we do here, any parting shots, thoughts on the games here? You heard from Gary Hess and Robert Anderson and the Lubbies, as well as Coach Delmar Christian of Kettle Run, and Sawyer of Lake Taylor, Madrigal Clark, Marquez Hall of North Stafford. A few 757 teams going for glory today. We agreed on all of our picks. We both have Oscar Smith, Maury, Varina, Lake Taylor, Glenvar to finish up a perfect 15-0. And we both have Rappahannock over Rye Cove.
Yeah, I looked hard at that, trying to figure if I can do something different. But I'm in the lead, so there's no need for me to.
You're not in the lead. You're down 1.
Oh, so you cheated again.
I didn't cheat.
I was up 2 as we went into the semi. Now I'm down 1.
That's, if you can, steal if you must, but always cheat is what somebody told me.
That's saying. You must have some great math. That's why Kempsville was probably the best 7 years of your life.
No, just 3.5. So there you have it. But, it should be a lot of fun today. We got championship games all over the place.
I'm hoping, I'm a homer for 757. So, but I tell you what, Oscar Smith, Maury, Lake Taylor, I think all have really good shots.
They do. They definitely do. Well, that's going to put the finishing touches on this episode. Enjoy your basketball practice, and we will keep you posted on what's happening. What's that?
It will not be an enjoyable one.
It will not be an enjoyable one. Why is that?
The youngsters will have to understand you have to atone for your lackadaisical play. Let me just put it that way.
All right. So he's getting ready to send out marching orders over at Smithfield. I'm still waiting for that pinata back behind you. Someone to knock it and hit candy and they'll all fall out. It'd be great. He's the coach. I'm Matt Hatfield. We'll talk to you next time. Getting closer to Christmas. Scrooge over there is not buying me a thing.
Hey, I bought me my own Christmas present because of you.
Oh, did you? You got the, look at this. You got the junk list. Look at you. You found them.
Found them.
Pretty good. Thank Mike Rapoli and Mike Francesa for turning me on to turning you on to it. So there you have it.
It's some good stuff. It's good, healthy for you. It's good stuff.
And they didn't even they don't even sponsor the show and they're getting a free plug out of us. Just like the Wood Grill got all morning long.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to write a letter to Junkless and tell them, hey, we need some money because we put you on.
We'll catch you next time right here on Cova Sports TV as Ed tries to track down this guy. See you later.